Some, in fact, we told don't come. They were at the committee dealing with the report process and so on, so we asked them to stay there. So there are some we can account for, others not too sure, but those of us who were here were here. We deliberated on the two bills especially that are very controversial, the UPDF amendment bill and the political parties amendment bill. And we said that we shall be in the House today. That's the decision that we took. And we were in the House today. We said we shall, before 10 a.m., be in the House. And I want to appreciate colleagues because they were in the House before 10 a.m. And as we agreed, there's been issues with these two bills, especially. Number one, it was obvious the state seemed hell-bent to pass the bill willy-nilly. Consultation was not conducted as is provided for within the law for different stakeholders to have their input into these bills. I raised this matter at least twice last week, asking the Speaker, please avail time. This business of ambushing the different stakeholders, whether it be political parties, law society, and other stakeholders, NGOs, and so on, to bring their input into the bill on the very morning. Letters were reaching them in the morning and saying, come right now. That's not consultation as is envisaged under the law. And the Speaker promised that she will avail time. As we went into the weekend, the joint committee was processing this bill, meaning that stakeholders were locked out, their views disregarded. That means that's not a law for the people, because laws are made for the people, and that's why there's provision for them to be consulted, and there's 45 days provided for within the law. That was flouted. We did hear the government chief whip who said something very interesting, political or otherwise. He represents government. And one of these bills, the most controversial one, was a government bill, the UPDF amendment bill. He said, for us, we have decided that this bill is going to be passed in its form, in its shape, as it is. So, government, why did you then bring that bill to Parliament? If you wanted to pass it, why did you not just decree, like Idi Amin Dada used to do? Decree and say this is law. Because when you bring the bill to Parliament, that means you're going to subject it to scrutiny of members of Parliament, of committees, and different stakeholders. But they were saying, no, for us, we have decided it will pass as is. Meaning even the input of committees and other stakeholders was disregarded totally. We said, let's go to the House and raise this matter again, because that's our platform. And we said we are not going to make it easy for them. So this morning, we went to the House, and as you saw, I did raise this matter for the umpteenth time to say, Madam Speaker, can we proceed within the law? You cannot bring reports when there's not been time for consultation. That means they are reports of just a few people. We also got information that the majority committee report of the joint committee must have been generated. We don't know whether it be from State House or wherever, but members were just called to sign, because yesterday they left the hotel where they were before the report was worked on. They went to State House in Entebbe. They did not return to the hotel where they were processing together as a joint committee. Even for our colleagues to be able to have their minority view heard, to say, okay, now this is what you have processed as a joint committee, but we are disagreeing. They did not go back to the hotel. Instead, this morning, we understand they were just called and said, you come and sign. Where? Parliament or whatever. So they were just coming to append their signature. That means even the committee process did not end as it should have. Because that's how you produce committees, committee reports. You sit, agree, disagree, produce either one report or multiple reports. But they ran away, and they did not go back. I want to appreciate our colleagues on the committee who put in a lot of effort. Because as we were seeing the direction the majority committee report was taking, They said, let's be the voice of reason, and they put together very good thoughts and a very good minority report, which I believe the country will have occasion to look at, the members of the general public. Very good report. These people did not sleep. I spoke to them late in the night, got to them again early morning, and they were still up putting together an amazing minority report. But of course, as we got to the House this morning, it became clear the Speaker was not interested in following due process. When we were saying, but there's not been adequate time for consultation, why are you hurrying this? What's the hurry about? Speaker was saying, oh no, you wait for the Bills Committee stage, you will raise that matter. But we're saying before the Bills Committee stage, we are raising this issue procedurally now. Because once you go to the Bills Committee stage, you cannot go back and get stakeholder views. You can't, you'll have moved. And clearly we realized they were not interested in that. We said, no, this is a sham process. And we agreed we shall not be part of a sham process. And we are categorical about calling this a sham process because once a bill has not gone through the consultation that is envisaged under the law, it is sham. This same bill goes against the ruling of the Supreme Court because the Supreme Court was saying civilians have no place going before military courts. Even soldiers, by the way, who were beneficiaries of the ruling of the Supreme Court, because the Supreme Court said even these soldiers, for offenses that are provided for within the Penal Code Act, take them to the civilian courts. Only service offenses, internal disciplinary issues, should be tried by these disciplinary courts. But clearly, government was saying, we shall flout that too. So we said, we have made our case. We have made every effort to try and appeal to the reason of the Speaker, and she has failed. So we said, no, we are not going to be part of sanitizing a sham process. We chose to leave them to continue with their sham process. And we have taken a decision that we are going to court over these matters because we have adequate grounds. One, of course, Article 92 of the Constitution is being flouted. The decision of the Supreme Court is being disregarded. But two, there was no consultation. And you say these people are not smart. Even when you want to do something, you have an end in mind. At least you consult. Listen to the various views of different stakeholders. Then you can disagree with them. But first listen to them. They did not want to do that. I mean, in the past, we have been part of bills which we disagree with and so on. But we remain up to the very end, put out our minorities and so on. And then we say, okay, the majority have had their way, but the minority have had their say. In this case, they did not even want the minority to have their say. That's why we said we will not be part of that sham process. So we are going to court to raise these grounds. One, we are telling court, government and parliament for that matter is in contempt of a decision of court, the Supreme Court at that. Number two, due process was not followed. There was no consultation. Even the way the majority committee report was arrived at, it was sham. And that's the matter. We want to take this matter to court and put the courts to the test. And we are glad that sometimes when the courts are put to the test, they do come out, like they did in the matter, this very matter. Because the matter went all the way to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court said, no, civilians should not be taken to military courts. We are hoping that the courts will speak out again in defense of their space. And of course, we know that there's different stakeholders that have hinted on a possibility of going to court, whether it be civil society organizations and others. We'll connect with them. We'll connect with them so that we get to have a joint suit and be able to put this matter to the test. I thank you.